What's up, guys? It's Westo here. I'm going to start a new thing on my channel. It's going to be like a story time thing. Hopefully it'll go pretty well. I've been watching a guy called Luna for a couple of years now. I've been trying to copy him, trying to get that, that motivation to do it. So this is going to be my first try. If you do enjoy, do like, subscribe, all that shit. I'd really appreciate it. Today's story time is going to be a confusing one to explain, so I have to use everyone else, like different people's names, So this story time is gonna be in 2020. Now, 2020 was a bit of a weird year. Obviously, you had like COVID and stuff. But at this point where I was, people didn't really take it too seriously, so we kind of go out and still do our own thing. And me being pretty young at the time, I'm pretty sure I was like 15 at the time. It's actually I'm pretty sure I was younger than that. No. I don't know. I think I was 15. So what happened was we were at this play park. I had a lot of friends at the time, and one of my good friends was there. Let's call him Jake. So me and Jake were really good friends. We still are to this day. We chat a lot. And he was like, hey, we should go out for a drink. We should go out and get really drunk and, do some dumb shit. Now, people in the States, you guys won't really understand this, but kids in Europe, especially the UK, we started drinking at like a really young age. It's actually a problem, but I don't see it as a problem. I see it as just, you grow up early. I was like, yeah, sure, you know what? I'll do it. So I get ready. I go out. At this point, it's probably like 6 p.m., so it's not too late. I'm obviously like, okay, I'll go out, I'll have a couple drinks and see what happens. So I go out, and I meet up with everyone, and there's a lot of people there. A lot of my friends at the time was there, and there's a few people that I didn't know who brought their own drink and stuff. So I was like, all right, great. We're going to chill out, have a drink, and someone comes over to me, and he's like, yo, Westo, what do you feel about fire? How do you feel about it? I was like, I'm okay with it. I mean, what's your plan? He goes, I want to do a big fire. So let me stop right there and just say, if you ever do this, if your buddy ever comes up to you and says, let's make a big fire, don't do it. It's definitely not worth it. Especially if you get caught. There's a lot of consequences to that. So, yeah, just remember, don't do it. But my dumbass, I was like, fuck yeah, let's fucking do it. So, in our town at the time, there's a lot of things going missing, especially wheelie bins. Now, again, in Europe, you'll see a lot of wheelie bins. Like, you get like different colors, like blue, green, black. So we went up the street near like this nursery, and at the time people knew that they were going missing. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we know that these bins are going missing, so they posted it on Facebook a lot. Now, me being a little shit, I acted like I didn't know anything about it, knowing fine well I was the guy carrying these bins on my back. And at that time I was quite big. I was quite a big kid. I had like a good amount of muscle on me. I was working out. So when we go up the street and we see a wheelie bin in the middle of the street, like someone outside someone's house, we're like, you know what? That'll be perfect. It was a black one, so it had paper in it and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. I'll carry it for you guys. So as we're carrying it, we hear a loud noise. And it's this huge guy, like 6'4", at his like front door shouting, hey, get back here. Now, obviously, I'm Scottish, and I've always been in Scotland. So, the guy was Scottish. I imagine an angry, like 6'4" white man with a Scottish accent screaming at you to get back here and starts putting his shoes on. So we book it. I still have the bin on my back, and we book it back into these like woods, like quarry. And everyone turns their flashlights off. We're sitting there. We meet up with everyone, and I'm like, dude, we just got chased. And our friend's like, wait, what? How? I was like, well, I thought they were asleep. And when I took the bin, he must have woke up, or he must have like saw us, and he chased us. And as we're talking, we hear footsteps and shouting, and then it just all stops. And we're like, what the fuck? So we look out to the path, and the guy just stood there in like a dressing gown, like a nightgown, with slippers on, and a flashlight, and his dog on like a leash. And then he's like, God fucking damn it, dude. Like, he's cursing to himself. And we're trying not to laugh because we're kids at this point in time. So we're like, dude, this guy's going crazy. So he kind of starts walking away. And as he starts walking away, one of our friends is like, do you want to get like the fire started and stuff? Like, I was like, what, here? He's like, yeah. I was like, no, we'll go back to the park and meet up with everyone, you know, and we'll try and see what everyone wants to do. So we make our way back down there with a bit on our back, on my back, sorry. And we meet up with everyone. They're all still drinking, you know, chatting, got music playing. There's like smoking and stuff. And I'm like, we got the bin. And they're like, yeah, they're cheering. They're like, yeah, let's do this, you know. And Jake is like, hey, let's do it here. I was like, what, in the middle of a play park? Are you serious, dude? I was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, at this point I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I should have taken the bin, you know, maybe it's getting a bit too serious, because if they like that here and something goes wrong, like, dude, we're gonna get put in jail. Like, it's gonna happen. So I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't really think we should do that, just because it doesn't really seem too safe, and I really don't want to get put in jail or get in trouble, you know. It's like, no, stop being a pussy, dude. Yeah, it's fine. You can do it. Let's do it. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. And someone pulls a lighter out. I'm like, oh my God, dude, we're gonna get in so much shit. And they start lighting it. Now, wheelie bins are quite hard to light on fire, because when you light the stuff inside, it does take a while for the plastic to like heat up and catch fire and stuff. So we're like, I'm kind of sat there like, dude, oh my God, we're gonna get into so much shit. And before you know it, at this point it's like 7 p.m, 7:30 p.m. maybe, getting darker obviously, and the bin lights. And we're like, all right, we're chilling, you know, we're having a drink, nothing's going wrong, we're good. And maybe 30 minutes goes by, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're chilling. My anxiety kind of dies down a bit, and, you know, we're all just chilling there. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I light up a cigarette, and I'm sat there with my friend chatting. Let's call this friend David. All right, so me and David are sat there, you know, we're chatting. Jake comes over, he's like, hey, like, are you guys enjoying it? You guys having a good time? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, I was I had kind of a bit of anxiety to start with, but no, I think we're chilling now. So we're just sat there having a smoke, and this girl walks up, who I knew from like primary school. So again, for you people in the US, it's kind of like elementary school. For you guys, so for us, we get like nursery, which is like, you know, preschool. Then you get elementary school, or like primary school for us, and then you get high school, which is like the last thing for us, and then like, you go to college and stuff. Anyway, so I knew her from there. I was like, oh, what's up? And we'll call her Marin, right? So Marin walks up, and she's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You know, like shouting at us, telling us to put it out, saying, oh, I've got cousins that play around here. I was like, yeah, but if you're letting your cousins out at this time on like a school night, that's kind of your problem, you know? And I'm just kind of like trying to be smart. I probably shouldn't, like 110% should not have been like acting like that. But I could understand why she was upset. I was like, hey, I understand why you're upset, but like that's not our problem. If you're letting your like young cousins out at this age, especially at this time, then that's kind of a you problem. I'm sorry, but... And at this point, I was a little bit drunk, so I had a little bit to drink. All our friends were a little bit drunk, and we just kind of stood there talking to her. And the next thing you know, all you hear is the loudest fucking explosion I've ever heard in my life. And someone threw, like, a deodorant can in the bin. So when that exploded, everyone ducked. Everyone, like, shouted and ducked. And I was like, oh. And when I fell over, I was like, oh my God, like, holy shit, is everyone okay? I was like, yeah, we're all good, you know, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I looked down, and I'm on fire. My leg is literally on fire, and I'm like, holy shit. So what do? I grab the bottle of vodka that was on the table next to us, and I douse my leg in it. And if anyone knows what happens when you douse vodka, or like pure vodka, on fire, it lights on fire. So my leg is even more on fire. So I have to take my trousers off. At this point, I still had shorts on underneath, so it wasn't too bad. But I had to take my trousers off and throw it in the fire. Now, everyone's like getting up, like, holy shit, like, are you okay? You know, what's going on? Like, what actually happened? And fucking Jake walks up. He's like, dude, I am so sorry. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not fucking okay. Did you throw that? He was like, yeah, it was me. I was like, you just fucking threw that in the fire. You could have hurt someone. You hurt me. At this point, my leg was like really sore, you know. My hair was all singed on my leg, and it was kind of burnt, but I wasn't too pissed off. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm going home, dude. And as I start walking to, like, get my bag, my coat and stuff, I hear sirens. And I'm not even kidding. All you see is 2 police cars roll up, lights and sirens, and then you hear, like, the fire brigade coming because you can see the red lights and stuff. And I'm like, oh, shit. Dude, we're in so much. And we are like, run! So when we start booking it, like, everyone just follows me for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, so I'm booking it. Like, I'm running I've never ran so fast in my life, I don't think. And then all you hear is, police with a taser, stop! And I just freeze. Everyone runs, I'm frozen. The guy's got a taser out, pointing it at me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to jail, dude. And he's like, wait. Like, I'm going to say my thing in my nickname. He was like, wait, Westo? I was like, what? And I turn around, and it's one of like the police officers that came to my house before for like another story I've got planned. It was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he puts his taser away. And the fire brigade like go over with like their water and they just start spraying it. And I'm like, I was with my friends and then they lit it on fire and I was just having a drink and I didn't want to get in shit. So yeah, I'm sorry. He's like, dude, you got to be kidding me. You can't just be fucking doing this shit. I was like, I know, like, I'm sorry. I just want to go home. Can I go home? It's like, no. I need your like your names of your friends. I'm like, fuck. And in my head, I'm like, I got 2 options. I can either run and get home, and then he comes to my house later and probably arrests my dumbass, or I can stay there and like tell all my friends and then possibly get away with it, no consequences. And I'm like, dude. And of course, my dumbass chose the first option, so I run, and I'm like going through the woods, and I know these woods like really well, mainly because I grew up here, and he wasn't really from here. So he starts chasing me. He's like, Westo, stop, please, just stop. And I'm just running. And at this point, I realize, like, my leg is actually, like, burnt. Like, it's so sore. And I'm, like, running through nails and stuff, and it's really sore, and I'm like, fuck. And I keep running. And eventually I get to, the other side, and I see my friends, like, hiding, like, next to this white box in, like, a parking area. I was like, dude, you guys fucking left me. He was like, and Jake walked to me, he's like, what the fuck did you expect us to do? The police came. I was like, yeah, maybe don't leave me there. He was like, well, I'm sorry, like, what happened? I was like, so he asked me to tell him your names, and they're like, oh, they're all, like, sighing, like, fuck's sake. I was like, no, I didn't tell them. I ran. He was like, what? You ran? I was like, yeah, I fucking ran. He was like, you're gonna get in shit. Does he know you? I was like, I don't know. I mean, he said my name, and I'm pretty sure it's the same guy that came to my house. He's like, dude, you're in so much shit. So we kind of just sit there at that box for a bit thinking, like, what the fuck just happened? And you can still hear it, like, police cars rolling up and stuff with, like, blue lights and stuff, and you can hear it. I'm like, dude, I want to go. I'm getting so paranoid. Just want to go home. So we all start kind of walking home. A couple of people had to go the opposite way, like, back down. So they went all the way around. Like, they went the long way around. So I get home, and I go upstairs straight away, and my parents are like, hey, like, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, why do you smell like smoke? I was like, there was like a little fire and my trousers caught on fire, but I'm good. Like, everything's fine. He's like, where's your trousers? And I was like, they're obviously like in the bin. He's like, I just bought you them, for fuck's sake. I was like, you're more concerned about the trousers you bought me when my legs like was on fire? Like, are you serious? And he's like, I don't give a fuck. You're obviously fine because you just walked in. I was like, fair enough. It was like, so where are they? I was like, oh, they're in the bin. He's like, where? I'm like, oh, fuck. If I tell him what, he's got to go down there and, like, fucking try find them and, like, fix them. I was like, near the high school, you know? He's like, what fucking high school? I was like, the high school, like, the next town over. He's like, you did not just get all the way back from that town over. You left, like, 2 hours ago. I was like, so, maybe in the primary school then. He's like, why are you lying? Just tell me the truth. I'm like, fuck, okay. So, my friends had a fire, and someone put a deodorant can in, and then it caught my leg, and I put the trousers in the bin. I'm sorry. He's like, what? Are you fucking stupid? Like, shouting at me and telling me off. I'm like, dude, I'm like, come on. I was like, I didn't even do it. I was just there. He's like, yeah, when you fly with the crows, you get shot with the crows. Who was it? I was like, I'm not telling you. So, I run upstairs, and I shut my door, And he's like, he's like shouting, like, get the fuck back down here, you know. I'm like, no. And I shut my door, and I'm like, I just want to go to bed. So I get my like pajamas on, you know. I lie in bed. I'm like, dude, what the fuck just happened? And not even like 10 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Now, I was shitting my pants. I was so scared. I didn't even think like, oh my god, like, I didn't think if it was like my phone or anything, if I dropped my phone. Because at this point, I had dropped my phone. I dropped my phone when I was running. So I was like, shit. And I don't know how, but my dad opens the door. He's like, oh, what's up, David? And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so lucky. And David's like, oh, you know, Wesley dropped his phone. And I picked it up for him. You know, I found it on like Snap Maps, and I was wondering why he wasn't answering me. So I went down, and he dropped his phone. This is his phone. Like, here you go. He's like, all right, thanks, David. You know, yeah, he's upstairs. I'll give it to him. Like, I'll see you soon. And he shuts the door, and he shouts my name, and I come down, and he's like, you left your fucking phone on the floor. You dropped it. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. And he gives me it, and he's like, wait. And he smells, and he's like, you smell like fire. Were you like, did you light it? I was like, no, I swear. I was just stood there, and, you know, eventually just the conversation just abruptly ended, and I went upstairs, I went to sleep, and the next day, and I wake up, and I see on Facebook, it's like, oh, these little assholes, you know, lit fires at the play park last night, the fire brigade had to come, and I was like, it wasn't even that bad. There was, like, a very small part of it, which was, like, burnt, but other than that, it was absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with, like, the equipment there, and that was that. And for some reason, the police never came to my house. I'm not quite sure why, but, like, to this day, I still think, like, why did the police never come? Like, there must have been a reason to it. And I've not seen that, like, police officer since that night. I've not seen him since. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. And, yeah, I was chilling, and I just wanted to, like, tell this story, because I thought maybe you guys might be interested in it. And if you do like the story, you know, ask for another one, because I got one more planned after this, and I'm kind of, like, not out of ideas, but I want to see how they go first. So, yeah, moral of the story is, when you're 15, don't go out with your friends and get drunk into a fire, or steal someone's bin, and get chased by the police, you know, just don't do it. If you want to do a fire, go, like, somewhere controlled, you know, maybe, like, next to the water or something, so you can kick the water in, or kick it in the water. So, yeah, if you enjoy, just leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know, just let me know your feedback. And this is all true. Like, this all happened to me when I was very young. So, yeah, thank you for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, like I said, do all that, and I will post more content for you guys. Peace.